We're live! Welcome back to Saturday night. I actually kind of like Saturday night. Sometimes I think I like the skits in some way. Like the papyrus one for Ryan Gosling. Not for Avatar. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh! Like he gets so vexed that the guy who made the logo for Avatar just wrote Avatar in papyrus. He's like, it was. Tell me, I'm fine at the same time as you guys. And then obviously, thing happened. What are your thoughts of what happened? Oh, you introduced ourselves, did we?
Yeah?
You introduced ourselves. Introduce ourselves.
Ah, okay.
You are?
I'm Willis.
Kelly.
What's on?
And Kaijego.
Really lost. So you said thoughts on...
Just thoughts on the beginning of the protest, what you thought about it. Did you think it was a serious situation? Do you just think guys were just...
Maybe just to pull things back further, I thought the beginning of all this was the end femicide movement. I think that's the first protest where there wasn't like a set leader, and you can see like the young people actually fighting and vocal about what's going on. And I feel like those the first signs that people are not happy, and we don't need leaders to come and tell us that we need to protest for rights. Yeah, we need to fight for our money. And by fighting for our money, like there's no problem with paying taxes, but then our taxes can't be going to your pockets.
No, you can't.
So yeah, I think just we're done with that kind of mindset and living. So I think that first end femicide protest, I think, was a spark for all this and more to come.
Yeah, because after the end femicide, it was the doctors one, the interns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then after interns, then it grew into this one. What are your thoughts on it, Willis?
It's been a long time coming. And the biggest problem is that the leaders, I can't even call them leaders at this point, the politicians have been living a life where just doing whatever they want without any repercussions.
The actions go unchecked.
Yeah.
Completely.
You have a case in EACC. That's the corruption guys. Yeah. You just cozy up to someone and then the case is gone.
Yeah. It's stagnant. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Not in court or anything.
So because there's no consequence to anything, it rubs people off. And I think this is at this point where it's rubbed enough where people are like, I know, you can't continue like this.
Okay.
You can't be a politician, then you're showing off your
new Range
houses, your Range Rover, and it's not your money that has gotten you there.
That you've gotten in your second year.
Yeah. It's only been 2 years.
It's not been 2 years.
It's only been 2 years. So it's like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When you're on your salary, and over, even on a loan.
But that's not something we should talk about. Their salary is too much.
It's also a bit ridiculous.
There's no good reason why we should pay MPs that much money.
MPs, senators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I think it's a structural thing that the agencies are trying to fight completely.
Yeah.
And it's not, again, I think it started with the finance bill. I mean, for this wave was the finance bill and how obscene and ridiculous it was going to be. I mean, for me, I'll be honest, one of my triggers was I was going to pay 2 Gs for Konyagi. I was like, I need to hit the streets. There's no way I'm going from 900 bob to 2 Gs on a salary. There's no way. No, not on my watch. So I think that's one of the, like, obviously there were other issues to the bill that would have rubbed off, just crippled people. What are your thoughts on it, Karigo?
I have very, very many thoughts on this.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, the rejection of the bill, and just pretty much everything that's been going on in the country. But I think for starters, I agree with what Kelly said. on the end femicide movement really did.
Saturday. So
Yeah, like it was that spark that really showed people. It's like you realize we can take to the streets. We don't need anyone to tell us that, okay, yeah, I will lead people into the streets and do this and do that. No. Like we just sit down, it's like, me, I'm going to protest. Where are you going? It's like, me, I'm going. Just from the next month to the next month to the next person. Before you know it, you're 10,000 strong in the streets of Nairobi and, just many more going. So first of all, I think it's something very commendable. And as this generation and also just as Kenyans, being able to sit down and go out and not necessarily because you are influenced by, your local MCA or, your presidential candidate who didn't enter or who did whatever for you to go to the streets. People have sat down and decided that we are tired with what the government is doing. They are carrying us for idiots. They are genuinely carrying us for idiots.
Just to
Yeah.
piggyback on being carried as idiots, the DCI and NIS finding a serial killer suddenly.
All of a sudden, yeah.
What did you
I mean, there's so much to talk about and so much to address.
It's gonna be we're going to skate over because for our discussion to be like points of what's because obviously if you were to sit down like all women with a crate of beer here and talk, we talk for many hours talking about just this last month. So,
but I think for me overall, I think it's just first of all like big kudos to everyone who went out to the streets, to everyone who was retreating, everyone who stopped, the various campaigns or whatever, and just like you went silent on your campaigns and support, because generally even that is a show of support. You're not undertaking your day to day because you know how to read the room. You can clearly tell that the climate right now, it's not time for me to be promoting, it's like, oh, Club X or this or that or whatever. It's like, let's put a pause on that. Let's let people do what needs to be done. Let's support in whatever way we can possibly support. And then we move on with it. But I want to piggyback on something that you asked and you said like the thing that really triggered it for you, that was like the cognac. I think maybe now just to go around and also ask what really was the trigger for you guys to realize that okay, yeah, this thing is
it's a bit ridiculous.
It's crazy.
So for one, mine was, this might sound weird, the taxes were to pay on cars, the assets. Like it's an asset, why am I being taxed on an asset? And they were to collect it through insurance. So insurance costs are not cheap. So now adding that and forcing everyone to pay
Just
for it.
2.5.
I don't remember the percentage because it was rejected anyway. So and also adding fuel levy.
I think that went through a bill. But that still happened, by the way. Keeping it.
I don't know the facts, but yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that really have played in my head. Because for one, I appreciate if the money is going to roads and building roads, but we have so many stalled roads. If you come to Ngong Road is fixed every other month. The same potholes are fixed every other month. So that does not count as road maintenance. That's just someone lining his pockets. Like let's do it temporarily and get money.
A quick fix.
Yeah, quick fix to get money for the next whatever. And
The next time it's
until it drizzles. Just a little bit of drizzle, then the road you have to build it again.
It's
That's
like
just
tender
stupid.
again.
Yeah, that's stupid. And then just adding anything on fuel, just in itself,
Increases the cost of living.
fucks up the entire economy. Yeah, and by economy, as much as Ruto keeps saying that the dollar's gone down, our economy is stronger, no one has money. So
No
goods
one's
are cheaper,
working.
but no one has money to afford those things. So it's fundamentally wrong. And yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now.
What are your? At least give us 2 triggers.
The trigger was the tax, adding the tax in itself, with the whole bill. Because clearly, if you look at the data from last year, KRA's collection,
Just lowest.
yeah, after they increased the tax last year. So it's that line for stupidity is doing same thing.
Oh,
And
doing
expecting-
same thing.
So if you added last year, and you didn't collect as much,
You think
why will you add this year and expect to collect more
Yeah.
than what was your target last year and you didn't even get to your target?
economics?
But then also, why does our budget have to be going up? Like we set revenue collection targets that we don't meet, but we keep increasing the budget, hoping that we can supplement it with loans.
That's the thing. I think if we're going to real discussions here, I think one thing that I think post rejection of the bill, the president said, not my president, but the president of Kenya said he was going to look into austerity of the government.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks since, and there has been no sign of austerity. They've taken a 1.5 trillion loan. It's like, okay, this is how I see this thing. Okay, let me start with my 2 triggers. The Kenyatta thing was a joke, but it played a part.
Don't come between Kanye and his Kenya.
The one was with the land becoming leasehold only.
Yeah.
That vexed me. And I think for new landowners, you just bought this thing and then you're told, no, you don't actually own it. So it's like, what the hell? And then similarly, didn't affect me personally, but it is going to affect people close to me, was the taxes on diapers for kids. And I know, I personally know a lot of people who generally are struggling with keeping up with that demand of buying their kids diapers. And I was like, if you're going to increase on these people are not going to be able to afford a basic hygiene system for an individual, for a child. So those two were very ridiculous to me. And when it comes to like the budgeting of this government, I think their mentality, these people are old. They are from the old guard, the guys from early
DVD.
80s. So the way they've done politics, they still think it applies today. And they're not changing their mind, they're not adapting to what the kids are saying, because they obviously they deem that Gen Zs don't know what they're talking about because they don't have experience. But what I've learned in this last month is the pool of intelligence that these kids have is insane. You know, firstly from the GPT on the finance bill that came out, so guys can find out what's in the bill. Then I know it's kind of illegal, but getting the numbers, I mean, it's not illegal because these are public public figures, but just having access, people can access information, and you can reach your MCAs and MPs, which on the person constitutional, which I don't know if you guys know it, you're supposed to meet your MCA on a weekly basis. So that's one of, I think you're supposed to meet your MCA, like, you know, because each ward has a town hall. Every single ward has a town hall. You're supposed to meet your MCA there to discuss what's going on. I don't even know who my MCA is. I know his name, but I have never seen him, never seen his face.
All I know about the MC around is the rumors that he entered and then suddenly he had a nice big car.
Suddenly.
So, surprisingly, as soon as I entered it.
Yeah. Before he didn't.
So is this a humble? So I think what I believe this movement has become and is the official opposition to the government.
Yeah, accountability.
Accountability, just holding because the previous, the current standing opposition has done zero opposition. Zero. If anything, that's points that aligned with the standing government, which is not to the point of opposition. So I believe that this change, and it's going to take time. I don't think to expect, you know, all boomers to change their minds in a month is also insane thinking on our end.
I think we need at least Ruto and the next president must be one-term president, so they start seeing that once you're in, it's not 10 years, and you're only going to continue on merit. You're going to be put in office on merit.
Oh, this 2027, they will not believe. 2027, they will not believe. What are your triggers and thoughts?
For me, I think similar to each and every one of you, similar to like every one of you, I mean, every single thing was, you know, a trigger. You're increasing taxes and, you know, the targets for last year were not necessarily met. So what makes you think that as you keep on increasing, you're going to meet set targets? Because, I mean, if anything, that's an indicator that, okay, how people will do any and everything to escape any situations that are not favorable to them. What was your agenda? People are not stupid. Like, people in this country are actually smart. They're smart enough to understand that this is how the law works. They're smart enough to even find loopholes around the law. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened last time when they initially increased the taxes, and that's why they didn't meet the targets. Long story short, and that's as much as I'm going to say on that particular matter. But I think for me, the one thing that really stuck with me was the rate of unemployment. First of all, is like very, very ridiculous. This guy's out here talking about he's exporting jobs and whatnot. Who told him that people want to leave?
And then even the jobs are ridiculous things like maids and cleaners.
That's the thing. Who told him that people want to leave? People want to stay in their home country and have gainful employment here.
Make lives in this
at the end of the day. And I was just looking at it from a perspective of like, oh, I'm going to create jobs and whatever. You'll create Mjengo jobs. So you'll create Mjengo jobs for the guy who went and studied law. You'll create Mjengo jobs for the person who went and wanted to become a doctor. You'll create Mjengo jobs for the person who's an actuarial scientist. You'll create Mjengo jobs for the person who's a teacher.
Yeah.
It's utter bullshit, and that's literally all it is. That's literally all it is. Because I'm also looking at it from a perspective of, like, I'm looking even at myself. After I graduated, I tarmacked for 2 months.
Just 2 months?
Sorry, 2 years. Sorry, 2 years. 2 years.
I was like, yes, back for 2 months! 2 months! I can't believe this!
I tarmacked for 2 years. 2 years looking, nothing. And it's at that point you're giving up, you're like, okay, maybe I should look to go back to school, see if there's anything else that, will put me in the markets. But there's other people I know who went back to school and still tarmacked even more
After the fact.
after going back to school to study this and that and whatnot. And I'm looking at it from a perspective of, I have a younger brother. When he's done with his academics, he finishes this year. When he's done with his university education, what's in it for him? What's going to happen to him? I did 2 years. My sister, I think, even did more than 2 years tarmacking.
I mean, I'm still tarmacking.
I mean, we have people who graduated like 5 years ago and they're still tarmacking. God knows how long ago, and they're still tarmacking. Pretty much, yeah, to date. So you're talking about you're going to create jobs, you're going to do all these things, but for ground, that's not exactly what's happening. It's a very different scene, very different scenario when you're on the ground. What you're seeing is actually not the so-called jobs. People are struggling, people are suffering to make ends meet. Secondly, the increase on things like, you said, diapers, and things like cancer treatment.
Oh yes, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and tax all this whatever, and first of all, like, they've made it so uncomfortable for people with certain conditions. People can't even buy inhalers at the prices they used to buy them at. People who suffer from asthma. People who are struggling with endometriosis, the treatment has like gone up significantly. And they still want to add taxes on this particular treatment.
How do you tax medicine? How do you make it?
I think I figured out what's wrong with our president.
Because I'm also looking at it like, and I think for me it's also a situation of like the number of people I know who have actually lost their lives to things like cancer and the likes. That's one of the things that just told me I need to be out there. Because yesterday it was so and so, the other day it was my auntie, the other day it was my friend. Tomorrow it could be me, or it could be my mother, or it could be my brother. So
Yeah, you don't-
situations like those, and I'm just like, something has to give, something has to change.
Because I know people, they sell land, they sell cows, all these different things.
Just to be able to get treatment.
And that doesn't make any feasible sense. When even another thing that came out as also a trigger for me was that the new healthcare system, where even unemployed people shift had to pay. It's like, I have no money. How the hell do you expect me to pay for something I can't afford? It's like,
It's going to be like NHIF still. Only the government employees who can use NHIF.
yeah,
Like properly, not
public.
not just going out to just paying for the beds.
So, then my question comes
I
up.
have an issue with that though. Because I generally feel, conspiracy maybe not, but I generally think that they wanted to bring in shift So they say, okay, so we've brought in this new one just so they can offset all the corruption that's going on in NHIF.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Because there's so much money that's been lost at NHIF.
So they lost, what is it? Something millions.
Forget
in the audits. This year.
forget even in this last year's audit. Like in the past years,
There's
so much that's been lost.
Yeah.
So I think they're sitting down and doing the math. Let's just come up with something new and whatever, and then we disband this
But
whole
now the
thing.
question is, what are they doing differently with this? All we know is they're just getting money from us. Nothing has been set up that we know to take care or to make the systems better for shit. I mean,
I
I
think
think
so.
No, that's a
In
problem.
NHIF is already good. NHIF is good. The problem is people stealing.
Exactly.
Mostly. Because it's a universal healthcare,
Yeah.
and I think even the UK, as an example, NHS, which is what NHIF is based off, by the colonizer. I hate the colonizer, but National Health Service.
Oh, it works. Oh, it works.
Like I know my brother. He went to the UK for a bit, and there were meds that he had to pay like a shit ton for here, but there he didn't pay. We just had the subscription.
the prescriptions.
Prescriptions, right? That's why I've seen Netflix. But it's a subscription because he has to keep doing it. So, and there he got it for free, and he just entered, gave the script, and fucked up. And obviously, if you have cancer, your treatments are free, like because they have a system where the taxes that they collect put it to the healthcare, and that's what they should be trying to implement, not what they're trying to do now. But another thing I want to discuss, as time is a bit running short, is what do you think Gen Zs or the protesters have done wrong that you think? Okay, what do you think has been done wrong
Is there anything that could have been done
better
better?
in this last month or so? Because yes, there's been great steps that have happened. Obviously, a lot of accountabilities. So obviously, there's more accountability being put down. I mean, we'll talk about the CSs after this conversation, but there's accountability slowly happening. What do you think? But what do you think has gone awry that could have been fixed? I could start. I think for me, one thing that has bothered me a lot, we say we're leaderless, but one qualm I get is where these posters that come up. Who's creating them?
Creating the posters.
Because the whoever's creating them is leading, right?
Not necessarily.
I mean, that's how I'm seeing it.
Mm.
I mean, yes, we know Tuesday, Nimanda, man. We know that, but it feels like
Yeah, someone's curating it.
someone's curating it to an
Yeah.
extent.
Mm.
I mean, because I don't believe. I guess we're leaderless, but even the Mama, despite them being leaderless, they still had figureheads, right?
Mm.
So, do you think? I still think that in a way, based on what's coming, those kind of things, the movement does have, in a sense, leaders.
I will say this, yeah, and funny enough, that's actually one of the things that I feel like might be a qualm with how the movement has been organized. Figureheads, yes. There's
And
definitely
Nifa,
figureheads.
Shout
But,
out to Nifa.
but sitting down and saying that there's, if we want to quash this movement, we have to talk to so and so.
Yeah, you don't have. I mean,
nation.
there's not that.
We do not have that. And I think when it comes to the aspect of leaders, that's what guys are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
That is not there. But figureheads there are.
But something leading, because to a point, I don't think, because it was a leaderless situation, they would be voting on when to do things, or like there'd be a system in which we allow ourselves to do something. But we know, like we know Tuesday is Occupy something because of the CS appointments, but someone suggested that at that point.
I don't think that's a problem. I just don't think they should come out at any point because they'll be seen as a leader. So wherever you are, whatever basement you're at, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's. I think if that wasn't the case,
But you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yes,
I
yes,
get
yes,
where I'm coming from.
yeah, because I think if that wasn't the case, at least there's a template for what we all saying like, okay, this makes sense, let's follow this. Because otherwise, I think it will be very chaotic. And I think that's now my qualm with what's happening. There's so many things happening everywhere, and our focus is divided into so many things. If it's not the killings, if it's not the CS appointments, if it's not this.
But that's not our fault though, because that's what
Yeah,
that's what
it's
this,
not-
that's what the opposition is. They're, in a sense, tactically, if you're going to break up an organization,
Divide and conquer.
yeah, exactly, to diminish the effectiveness.
Yeah, so I think that's what I'm saying. It's the problem we're having. We're being divided, and now it seems like things are just slowly coming down. Because now no one wants to go, not everyone wants to go protest, because we're seeing people getting abducted, we're seeing people being shot. So dividing the masses and now conquering the different
You're seeing
masses.
people
I think we should
starting-
just focus on a few things. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit around. We can't clean up everything at once.
I think
Yeah.
I think to that how to solve it, because I've been thinking about that, and obviously not everyone is brave enough to go to the streets.
That's true.
True. I mean, and not everyone has the capacity to do other aspects of protesting. Like for, let's say, I think the best approach to it would be have two parties, to the core ground guys and the other guys. So the core ground guys would protest when bullshit happens, go the streets and hit. But the other guys, you play your part. Whenever there's anything for public participation, fucking show up. If there's innocent emails, send them. If you need to call your MPs and whatever, make those calls, like, put that pressure on that aspect. When you see a new bill being dropped on the floor, run down, go give guys information, read through it, lawyers, whatever, read through it, so everyone can know what's going on. And
Professionals in those fields.
Professionals.
It touches on, you know.
yeah, on those different things, because you can't. If you fight the laws, then they can't be implemented, and then that's slowly how you push them back. But if they go to the bush and push them through, then you have the guys for the ground. That's a choma. I'm not
What
instigating,
happened?
but that kind of thing.
So now, I think we need to tackle it from. This is a snake. We need to tackle it from the head, and that's the leadership in its sense.
But I think I think this would be that's a Hydra situation. If you cut the head, another one will grow back.
Yeah,
'Cause
but it's a start.
At
We
this-
can't. Yeah.
With the current climate, it won't be easy it won't be a Hydra situation.
don't think so.
Because
It will take time.
yeah, because this is the first time where we're seeing MPs and senators refusing to get salary increment. If it was another year, they would have just gotten it. This time they actually things are big.
But then they're in the room because they know if they do.
Yes,
true.
that's why
That's why
this
it's
is
the
the
right time
perfect time
now.
to go straight for
Yeah.
the head, because people will see, people are serious. Let's not just joke around with people.
Because again, now with yes, we need to do public participations and all that. But now, remember last year's finance bill? Who in their right mind said yes to this housing levy?
No, I
That still went through.
think that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think last year, none of us. If I'm being very honest, myself personally, last year I could care less about the names of these people. If you ask me to see us for the thing, I'd be like, huh? I'd be like, I don't know.
Now you know.
Now I'm vetting these people. Like, who is it nominated? Alright, let's go through. Let me see. Let me read what this person has done. What the history is.
Who was their father?
Exactly. Right.
Who's the farmer?
Who their
Their
father.
father.
Like one of
Who was
the
their
new
father?
CSs. Like we talk about the CSs. One of them is related to the CS. The main CS. Tangilism. CS, right?
The Tangula is a speaker.
Speaker. Yeah, he has he's assistant-in-law, I believe. if I'm not wrong. So like that means
Has been nominated as a CS.
for health.
Some bullshit.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what was I going? I think the public participation. I think that's also a very critical point, because last year I don't think anyone really did the participation on the housing levy, because everyone accepted it.
No, but there was some from
Let me-
the professional societies and a few other people, which is the same thing that happened with the fair levy that has just snaked its way through this recent one. People said, no, this is a damn thing, you shouldn't do it. No, you shouldn't do it.
Yes.
But then they're like,
Still
"Oh,
sneak
should."
through it. But you see, but then they had to do it like in darkness because they know the people. But before, no one would have. People would have accepted they're going to increase the fuel levy. It would be to Zoe, right? But now that was last year with the housing levy. Even the year before, whatever finance bill was added on. So I think that's what's going to be different now. I think going on even 2025. I mean, let's see if they actually do the austerity thing and actually use the money properly for this 2025.
I doubt austerity will be done because I told you in the shower I figured out what's wrong with our president. So
Actually, that's a good point.
We'll say he's a liar. I think I'm not a professional. I think he's bipolar. So he says one thing with this personality, and the other one has no idea what this other guy said. It's like even talk about we're going to ban Harambes. The next week on Sunday, he's pledging money to complete building of a church. That's literally a Harambe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's bipolar and the two personalities are not in communication with each other.
Honestly, that's a valid theory.
Or it might be tripolar, whatever, however they are.
That actually
I
would make the most sense.
Because even when on 25th, he called us treacherous criminals. The next day, he's like, you need to. I'm like, wait! My children never even settled.
We started off as digital wankers, we became chosen as criminals, we were sons and daughters.
And then you're together on X.
So many things.
You're together on X. I'm like, So this guy, I think bipolar is.
He has multiple personalities, yeah.
And I think about his decision making is very rash. Because even the firing of all the CSs, granted, it was a good move, was still very rash. Irrational.
Because it's giving, like, and especially with the recent appointment, it's giving, it's like, oh shit, I fucked up. I want to turn this once.
Like, oh, those are my boys, those guys who put me up. So he's not thinking things through. Or whoever's advising him, David D, fat fuck.
Apparently he's advising himself.
He's advising himself. I hate him. Let me put it.
Like, you should tell me this.
Because even when he talks, he says, I. He's like, I know
more than myself.
I will fix this. I will. Like, the government is not you. Government is you people. If the government works, you look good. If it doesn't work, then you are where you are right now.
And that's why, I believe the bipolar or tripolar. Because it's a common sense.
Like
if I put in...
No, actually, yeah.
It's common sense. If I put in CSs who are capable people, I look good.
You don't have to work.
Do anything.
That's what
I just come in.
Jameson 1 did. He had some good people in Jameson. He had good people on his cabinet, education.
You go on Monday, tell them, what are you guys doing this week? Blah blah blah. Thanks.
This guy told us live 2 billion is still in government every day, and he laughed, and we all laughed with him.
And he said he has no idea what is going on. No, I genuinely believe he had no idea.
But then he moved as a country. We laughed with him.
Don't lie.
Yeah, it's true.
So
we laughed with him, and then okay. But also, I think one thing that Jameson had over this guy is more charismatic. He would make you laugh and then you forget what you were expecting. Or he'd come and talk drunk at a national thing. You're like, look at this guy. He's one of us. Let me go to real. And then you forget that this guy is pretty much fucking you over completely.
But I guess the question now is, once we cut off the head, who's next?
Okay.
What next? Who are the people who are going to stand up and now go into politics?
That's what I'm saying. I was saying before, I don't think cutting the head is the thing. Like, for us, I think the way this government is structured, how I see how the government is structured for us as individuals, the president does not fully affect us.
Okay, maybe just to...
The person who affects us...
Cutting the head is not the president, it's the entire government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not cutting the... Because just changing the president doesn't make...
The difference. So that's what I'm saying, like, there's avenues for us to do that. So I think you change with the ones closest to us, MPs. We have that thing we can recall, which should be valid from August, if I'm not wrong. So if you don't like your MPs start thingy now, Please get
So I'm about to change my polling station just so I can go and remove an MP.
Not go to move Sudi. I've never been to iPhones and KFC. I think that's the one thing also that vexed MPs. It wasn't just like the class thing. Like poor kids weren't the ones on the streets. It was also
It's everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
Even your own kids from Keren and Runda. No,
That's why I
streets.
think
And they were trying to use it as a factor for dividing guys.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's one of the dumbest people to talk.
You shouldn't
Okay,
go.
no, I don't like insulting people. He's
It's not
one of the people who said
it's
one
the
of the
truth.
stupidest things.
Mhm.
Because if you just think about it in hindsight, if the rich people who are terming as rich are on the streets, then your government has messed up.
Completely.
When do the rich people usually go to the streets?
Rich, middle class. Those are the
Yeah.
streets.
If you're not complaining, because rich, for them, what tends to be put on the floor tends to benefit the rich. But if what you put on the floor is not benefiting the rich,
It's not benefiting anyone.
you're really because that means even the rich will have all that land. You're going to
Yeah.
tell the
That
rich
was one of the stupidest
that land is not
things he
yours. Ah!
On the Uhuru.
So I think
It might have been targeted though. But,
I think what did I say before this?
Cutting the head.
So yeah, so you start with MPs and like
Yeah.
the constitution has allowed us to gradually remove people and put in people that we believe work. And also, again, what I love that about this movement, the tribeless thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you can do the work, you could be fresh out of void. If you can do the work, you'll be put in. Doesn't matter. See what to. I hate that sentiment. The older people have that mentality that needs to go, because if you keep it, that's what Bota said in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, anything else to add? Because I think you'll keep going.
Yeah, we can keep. I think one thing I believe, it might be contradictory or whatever. I don't think we need how many counties do we have?
Ah,
7 counties.
we don't need that.
7 counties.
Well,
There's like
Every-
so many people.
I think what happened is
Mm.
every community thought that they needed the person to eat as well, and that's why it was split into almost the number of tribes that we have. We don't need all these counties.
I mean, I don't think I do believe we need counties for other reasons to affect individuals, like farmers and stuff like that. But I think we need to reduce, like, include some. Like, I don't understand. Kwale and Mombasa can just become one,
Yes.
for one, or
We can make it-
Nairobi or Machakos.
Or
can
like
just become
Nairobi
one.
Metropolitan, like in Ngong, whatever. Or
Yeah.
It can just be one.
Kiambu
One
gets
administration.
But I think counties work because,
Yeah.
as compared to, I think even like provinces are huge.
No,
Resources, it's hard for resources to be
But-
divided.
but the
I
process
honestly
was
think
divided
it should
into-
go. It should
yeah.
go back to provinces. We just need 8 counties, and then the people who need to do the work are the MPs.
But
Because
Or
like,
we can have the 8. We can have the counties put 7 or 52 if they want to increase, but then we maintain administrative zones. So like 8 provinces. So the administrative zones are the ones that manage this particular county.
each
Yeah.
province has its, like the America does, like each state has its own state thing.
I think that was the idea with counties.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Really?
That everything is
Oh,
yeah.
then then get rid of
Because
that.
We don't need
part of
that.
it is actually part of it is just copy pasted from like
The US.
From the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I think we should definitely go back to 8 governors, because that's already freed up so much money. You can pay so many.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Facts. Okay, I get
Then
it.
the
Okay.
places-
Then it's
Mm.
8 provinces for each governor, and then the provinces are divided for the MPs,
Yeah, it can be for the MPs.
Mm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. They all answer to that one governor for the.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
So that will already cut down
And
costs.
we're next, you do the 2 bombers next in a few days, and then we go whole new constitution. We introduce.
Maybe that's a move. There's nothing wrong with the constitution though.
It's a brilliant.
There's nothing wrong with it. So
Anyway, I think we wrap up that conversation. Obviously, this conversation can go a lot longer. We can even do a part 2 or
yeah.
further discussion. Obviously, as this thing goes, this is going to be on for a really long time. This is just the beginning. I mean, a lot of my parents have flipped from where they voted to where they are now. It's a full 180. So I think this conversation is going to be there for a while. Yeah. So it's been me, Kanye. Unless you have any other words too.
Kerigo, parting shot, let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing, something will give.
Yeah.
Kelly.
And Willis.